Throwaway because my wife knows my main, and I'm not ready for that nuclear fallout yet. We've been married 7 years, together 10. I'm 34, she's 32. On paper, we were the boring, stable couple. Decent job, small apartment, weekend hikes, shared Netflix account. No kids yet, but we talked about it constantly. Or at least, I thought we did. The first sign something was off wasn't dramatic. It was absence. She started working late twice a week, then 3 times, then weekends. She stopped telling me funny stories about her co-workers. Her phone never left her hand, even in the shower, literally propped on the sink, face down. If I asked who she was texting, she'd laugh and say, "God, you're paranoid." I believed her. I always did. The discovery wasn't a single moment. It was a slow, awful accumulation of small things that finally snapped into focus. One night, she fell asleep on the couch with her phone still unlocked. I swear I wasn't snooping on purpose. It buzzed, lit up, and a name I didn't recognize popped up. Mark Jim. The preview said, "I miss you already." My stomach dropped so hard I thought I might throw up on the rug. I told myself there was a reasonable explanation. Trainer? Old friend? Inside joke? I scrolled. I know. Invasion of privacy. But once you start, you can't stop. There were months of messages. Hotel selfies. Her calling him my safe place. And the worst part, messages about me. About how he's clueless. And I'm only still here for stability. I sat there shaking while she slept 10 feet away. I didn't confront her that night. I don't know why. Cowardice, maybe, or a shock. I spent 3 days acting normal, while screenshotting everything like I was building a criminal case against my own marriage. When I finally said, "Who is Mark?" she didn't even flinch. That's what scared me the most. She sighed like I'd asked something inconvenient. A co-worker. Why? I told her I'd seen the messages. Not all of them, just enough. She laughed. Actually laughed. Then she flipped it on me instantly. Said I violated her privacy. Said she was venting because I've been emotionally unavailable. Said the hotel photos were from a girls' trip, and Mark just happened to be there. Then she cried. Hard. Said I was imagining things. Swore on her mother's life nothing physical had happened. I wanted so badly to believe her. She offered to prove it. Deleted the chat in front of me, handed me her phone, said, "See? Nothing to hide." But of course, the proof was already gone. When I asked why she called him my safe place, she said it was a joke. When I asked about the hotel, she said I misread the date. When I asked why she told him I was clueless, she said I took it out of context. For a week, she was perfect. Cooked dinner, left her phone unlocked on purpose. Initiated sex like we were newlyweds again. I almost convinced myself I'd overreacted. Then a mutual friend accidentally mentioned meeting her new trainer at a bar. Same name, same city. Same week, she claimed she was with her sister. That's when the lies started collapsing in on themselves. I confronted her again, this time with names, dates, screenshots I'd emailed to myself. She went cold. Not crying, not apologizing, just cold. She admitted to an emotional affair. Then, 10 minutes later, admitted to kissing him once. Then, after I showed another message, admitted to sleeping with him a few times. Each truth came only after I proved she couldn't deny it anymore. The twist I didn't expect? She said she planned to leave me anyway. That she'd been preparing by saving money and lining up a place with him. She only stayed because he hesitated. I realized in that moment I wasn't her husband. I was her backup plan. That hurt more than the sex. The emotional crash came later. At first, I was pure adrenaline. Rage. I slept 2 hours a night. Paced the apartment. Replayed every memory like a detective looking for clues I'd missed. Then the sadness hit. Heavy, suffocating. I cried in the shower so she wouldn't hear. I blamed myself for everything. Working too much, not noticing sooner, trusting too easily. The worst twist? I found out she told her family I was controlling and paranoid, laying the groundwork in case I exposed her. Half of them already thought I was the villain. Eventually, something in me went numb. Not forgiveness. just acceptance. This wasn't a mistake. This was who she'd chosen to be. And I finally understood I couldn't fix a marriage she'd already abandoned. I told her I wanted separation. She reacted like I'd betrayed her, said I was throwing away 10 years over one bad chapter, said real couples fight through worse. Then she dropped the next bomb. She was pregnant. I froze. Completely. For a full minute, I couldn't speak. She swore it was mine. The timing, she said, made sense. But the dates in my head didn't line up. When I asked for a paternity test, she exploded, screamed that I was humiliating her, that only a monster would doubt his own child. For 2 weeks, I lived in limbo, half hoping the baby was mine, half praying it wasn't. The test came back negative. She told everyone I'd force her into it. That's when I stopped trying to be the good guy. I moved into a friend's spare room with 2 suitcases and a box of documents. She immediately changed the story again. Now she was the abandoned wife, pregnant and alone, cheated on emotionally by me, apparently. I lost friends. Some blocked me without asking a single question. Then another twist. Mark reached out to me. He said she'd been lying to him too. Told him we were basically divorced, that I was abusive, that she needed saving. He found out about the pregnancy test and dumped her. So in the end, she lost both of us. We're in the middle of divorce now. She's asking for reconciliation again. Says she's found herself. Says therapy changed her. Says I'm the love of her life. I finally understand manipulation doesn't stop just because the affair does. Here's what I've learned. For anyone reading this at 3 a.m. with a knot in their chest, trust your instincts. Patterns matter more than promises. If someone lies easily once, they'll lie creatively the next time. Love doesn't require you to ignore reality. I used to think betrayal was one moment, one choice. It's not. It's 100 small decisions to protect yourself instead of your partner. I'm not angry anymore. I'm just free. If you're in something like this, document everything. Protect yourself legally and emotionally. Don't let someone rewrite your life while you're still living in it. You deserve a relationship where you're not the backup plan. I wish I believed that sooner. The part one didn't expect after all of that was a silence. Once I moved out and the paperwork started, my life became eerily quiet. No late-night arguments. No sudden tears. No phone buzzing every 5 minutes. Just me, a mattress on the floor, and the sound of my own thoughts. That's when the next twist hit. I got an email from her work's HR department. Apparently, she reported me for harassment, claimed I'd been stalking her, threatening her career, trying to sabotage her relationship with a co-worker. They wanted a statement. I sent them screenshots, timelines, the pregnancy test, Mark's messages, everything. 2 weeks later, she was quietly let go. She texted me that night, furious, saying I'd ruined her life. For the first time, I didn't feel guilty. Then came the guilt trap. She started sending long messages at 2 a.m. about how alone she was, about how she'd lost a baby from stress, about how she couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, couldn't go on. I'd read them with my heart racing, fingers hovering over the keyboard. One night, I almost drove to her place. Instead, I called her sister. That's how I learned another truth. There had never been pregnancy. The test was from a friend. The ultrasound photo she showed me, from Google. I realized then how deep this went. How casually she could invent an entire life event to control me. That was the night I blocked her everywhere, and slept better than I had in months. The final twist came during mediation. She tried to claim half of everything I owned before the marriage. Said I'd promised it to her. Said there was a verbal agreement. My lawyer pulled out the prenup. She'd once mocked me for insisting on. She stared at it like she'd never seen it before. The divorce was finalized 3 months later. No dramatic courtroom scene. No closure speech. Just signatures and the quiet click of a folder closing. I'm dating again, slowly. I flinch when someone guards their phone too tightly. I notice everything now, but I also laugh more. I sleep through the night. I don't feel crazy anymore. If there's one last thing I'll say, manipulation doesn't always look like cruelty. Sometimes it looks like love, fear, tears, and apologies. And walking away from someone you still love is the bravest thing I've ever done. After the divorce, people assumed the story was over, that I'd reached the part where the credits roll and I move on. That's not how it works. The next few months were a strange kind of grief. Not for her, exactly, but for the version of my life I'd lost. The kids we never had. The house we almost bought. The future I planned with someone who, in hindsight, never existed. Another twist came when I found an old hard drive while cleaning my parents' garage. Backups from years ago. Emails, drafts, photos, in one folder. I found messages she'd sent to an ex before we got married. Same patterns. Same lies. Same lines. You're my safe place. He doesn't understand me. She'd been rehearsing this role long before she met me. It was strangely comforting. It meant this wasn't because I failed. It was because this is who she was. I went to therapy, mostly to understand why I stayed as long as I did. Turns out I was addicted to fixing things, to being the calm one, the reasonable one. I thought love meant enduring. Another twist. I realized how many red flags I'd actively ignored. Her rewriting arguments. Her never apologizing without adding a but. Her talent for turning every problem into my fault. The anger finally came late. Not explosive anger. Quiet, steady anger. Not at her, at myself. For doubting my own reality. For letting someone convince me that pain was normal. For thinking loyalty meant self-erasure. That anger didn't destroy me. It rebuilt me. I don't check her social media. I don't ask mutual friends about her. I don't wonder if she's changed. Because here's the real ending. The moment I stopped trying to understand her, my life got better. I learned to trust myself again. To leave at the first serious lie. To believe patterns, not promises. If you're still reading this and you're in the middle of something similar, here's my honest advice. If someone makes you feel confused more often than loved, listen to that. Love should feel like clarity, not like a puzzle you're constantly failing. I lost a marriage, but I got my sanity back, and that was the best trade I ever made.